Hey guys, I'm Mantis and welcome to my next video. So we're back with another top 5. Without further ado, let's get straight into it. It's top 5 memorable boss fights. So the boss fight that makes it number 5 on the list is from Star Wars Battlefront 2, and it was sort of a very unexpected one because you get given an objective to go and destroy some AA guns, some anti-aircraft guns, while you're playing as Obi-Wan if you haven't died while using the sort of hero ability to unlock him. And you're Obi-Wan, you're on Utapau, and you go to destroy these guns. You destroy these guns, then who just drops down from the freaking top of the just drops, like literally just appears out of thin air, drops down General Grievous. Now this is just an epic moment because obviously this is a brilliant Star Wars character. It's only in one movie sadly, but it's also in the Clone Wars series and the older Clone Wars series that we had, and he was really good in that, and I really enjoyed the character, and I just thought he was really awesome in the way he just drops down and you have to fight him and he's coming at you with 2 lightsabers and you've only got 1, and it was just a really epic moment, and it was one that sort of sums up the game for me in my opinion. Now, not many video game bosses actually sort of break the 4th wall while they're in the game, but the one that does is Psycho Mantis from Metal Gear Solid. Now, essentially this guy is pretty much a master of like he's master of psychic powers and telekinesis and all that sort of thing. He can read minds, he can move stuff with his mind, he can float. He's pretty weird guy, but the thing that sticks in my mind from this boss fight is the way that you have to defeat him. Basically attacks you and basically does things directly to the player as well. He reads your memory card, see what kind of save games you've got, whether you've got any save games at all, or he also vibrates your controller and tells you to put your controller down. And eventually the way that you have to defeat him is, because it was on PlayStation 1, you still had sort of the controllers actually plugged in rather than wirelessly like we're used to now. You have to unplug your controller and plug it into the player 2 slot in order to sort of defeat him and make him so he can't read your mind or read your thoughts anymore. And it was just a really cool boss fight. It's like the most sort of untypical boss fight you could ever think of. You're not really doing much in the game, you just have to literally do something in the real world, and I just thought that was really awesome, and that's why that's made it onto the list. So now probably the boss fight that's from probably my favourite game of all time. It is Uncharted 2, and it is the Lazarevic boss fight, where it wasn't sort of a typical sort of fight. I mean, throughout the game, the only thing that you'd really fought is just like normal guys. Then you had these big sort of brute guys which just had heavy armour and bigger weapons and stuff like that. But they weren't that particularly hard to kill. You could just essentially shoot them until they died. A few of them you had to do different things to, but it essentially did that. And then you also had these sort of Guardians of Shambhala, which are sort of these like Yeti type monsters, which you could actually kill by shooting. It just took a lot of time. But this fight was different. This Lazarevic boss was so sort of, it was built up through the whole game. This bad guy's done all this shit to people that Drake's friends care about. He killed Jeff, man. He killed Jeff the cameraman. And that's not cool. You don't just kill Jeff the cameraman. And it was kind of an interesting fight because you didn't really know what to do straight away. You had to sort of figure it out, and you eventually figured out that the blue resin which Lazarevic had sort of ingested to make him like more powerful and almost immortal was actually like sort of explosive, and if you shot it with your gun then it would explode, and you obviously had to get Lazarevic near it and do that. And once you got sort of that down, you could defeat him essentially. But the reason this boss fight really sticks in my mind is because me and my mate a couple of years ago was trying to complete Uncharted 2 on crushing difficulty, which is literally the hardest difficulty, literally like one shot and you're dead sort of thing. That's how difficult it was, and this boss fight was no easy task on crushing difficulty. But the way we managed to get through it is basically by singing a song. We made up a song about Jeff the cameraman, and it sort of went along the tune to You're Beautiful by, I can't remember what singer it is, whatever the singer is that sings that song. Is it James Blunt? I'm not entirely sure. I think it might be, but don't hold me to that because I don't really listen to that kind of music. But basically my mate's mum had the album playing. She was just playing it in a room on a stereo or whatever, And we kind of just sang along to it, but changed the words a bit and made our own words. And by singing the song and playing the game at the same time, we actually managed to complete the boss fight on Crushing. It was mental, just literally running around randomly shooting, just singing, "My name is Jeff. My name is Jeff. My name is Jeff. It's true." It was literally just singing that, which, to be honest, was absolutely mental. I had no idea that was even possible. Like, I didn't think we'd ever complete it, and it was just hilarious how we completed it by essentially making a parody song about Jeff the cameraman. R.I.P. Jeff. Next is a boss fight that just capitalises on everything that the Star Wars universe is, and sort of the mythos of the Star Wars franchise. Just, it encompasses itself within this boss fight. It is from Star Wars Force Unleashed. It's the Darth Vader and the Emperor boss fight. Now, this is very sort of quite interesting, because obviously this splits into two endings depending on what you decide to do, and essentially the character Starkiller from Star Wars Force Unleashed travels to the Death Star, which hasn't actually been finished yet, because Force Unleashed is set in between episode 3 and episode 4, so the Death Star's not finished yet. However, he goes there to rescue his sort of allies, and he encounters Darth Vader there, and he fights him, and you fight him through the boss fight. And if you get through that, you get to another section where the Emperor is literally just killing all your allies, and Darth Vader's almost like dead, so you could either try and finish off Darth Vader, which gives you the bad ending, and you end up becoming the next sort of apprentice of Palpatine, the Emperor, or you can take the good option, the good ending, which in my opinion is probably the one I would do. Is see your friends are getting killed, obviously you're going to go save them. Doesn't matter about the revenge of Darth Vader. Yes, he killed your dad, but you know, that's just something you got to put in the past, because there's more lives at stake. And if you go and attack the Emperor, obviously it's a harder boss fight than Darth Vader, because Darth Vader's like pretty much dead already, because you've already battered him off in a fight. But the Emperor fight, it's just so cool, just fighting him one-on-one. It's just so epic. Just the force powers, the lightning, the force pushes, the throwing objects at each other, the lightsaber just like clashing together and clashing all the lightsabers, and it just looks absolutely beautiful in my opinion, and it's just really awesome. Sadly, in the end, even if you almost kill Palpatine but you don't quite, and sadly if you choose that ending, your character dies. You know, he just gets killed in the fight, but he almost takes most of the Death Star that they're already building with him, as well as almost killing Darth Vader and the Emperor, and I just thought it's a really boss sort of way to finish a game. Now for the number one, it is the Mr. Freeze boss fight from Arkham City. In my opinion, this is just the best boss fight ever and the most memorable one, because it challenges Batman in a different way. Like, normally these boss fights in the Batman games are pretty much straight up punch ups. You'll have to use some gadgets, some batarangs, your bat claw, you know, grapple gun, that sort of thing. You'll have to use them. That's what we've been used to in Arkham Asylum. But in Arkham City, we get put in a different situation. We get put against Mr. Freeze, who has really good like technology, really advanced sort of technology to detect Batman and detect sort of heat signatures in the room, and he can sort of determine where Batman is. So you can't really go up in a straight fight against him, because he will literally just freeze you with his freeze gun. So you have to go for a different option. It's inspired by the Predator encounters from Arkham Asylum and early Arkham City, where you sort of have to navigate rooms with armed guards and take them out stealthily. But you have to do this one-on-one with Mr. Freeze, and every time you do something, every time you attack him in a certain way, be it you know, do an inverted takedown off a gargoyle, or you pop up from a floor grate and like punch him, he will remember what you do, and he'll sort of stop you from doing that. Like, he'll freeze up the grate so you can no longer do that, or he'll just destroy the gargoyle so you can't go on it anymore. And I just thought it was really awesome how he sort of adapts to the situation. You yourself have to adapt. You can't just keep using the same thing. And especially on the New Game Plus mode and on the hard difficulty, it doesn't actually show you the sort of things that you have to do. So say you've not played the game for a while, or you know, you've only just started the game, you decide you're a nutcase and you want to play it in hard mode, you will literally have to figure out it for yourself, because you won't be able to sort of access any of the back computer, because the storyline of that one is, if you start the New Game Plus or the hard mode, it's Mr. Freeze is using some sort of EMP device to jam your signal so you can't contact the back computer and you can't get any information about how you can defeat him, and it's just a really sort of mind-boggling thing. Like, even when I played through the game, completed it, then played through it straight away on New Game Plus, by the time I got to the Mr. Freeze part, I'd sort of forgot most of the sort of things you have to do, so I kind of had to properly think and try and figure it out. And I just think it's a really just different boss fight, because there's so many boss fights where it's just, oh, there's this big enemy, he's got weak points, hit him in the weak points. It's just, there's so many boss fights that are like that. But with this one, it's just so different, so innovative, and just something fresh, and that is why it sticks in my mind as the most memorable boss fight in video game history. So anyway guys, I hope you did enjoy. Leave a like if you did. Let me know down below who your favourite boss fights are from what games and why. Also let me know down in the comments, you know, is there any way I can improve my videos? I'm trying to get my videos as good as I possibly can now, I'm trying to get them in better quality and that sort of thing. I'm working on getting sort of better, you know, equipment, sort of cameras, microphones, that sort of thing. I am working on that, but obviously that's money. But at the moment I'm just trying to improve my editing and improve my sort of recording and sort of vlogging and I guess sort of acting skills at the same time, because I guess YouTubers are sort of actors. So just let me know down in the comments if there's any way that I can improve, because honestly I really want to make my channel the best it can be. But anyway guys, subscribe if you enjoy this sort of thing. I do a lot of top 5s now on my channel. I do a range of content, so if you're interested, hit that subscribe button and you'll get notified whenever I upload a video.